This is the lecture for Amy von Wynsberghe and Scott Robbins' article critiquing the reasons for making artificial moral agents. So the only topic is one that we've talked about before, but it's just good to get a refresher on it because this unit this week is all about moral agency and AI agency. And so this is just the distinction between being a moral agent and being a moral patient. So moral agents, well, maybe start with moral patient because it's like the lower kind of bar to clear, so to speak. If you're a moral patient, then basically, or even forget the interest. What this means is that you sort of matter, morally speaking. We have to take into consideration uh, what your life is like, or what your existence is like, or what your interests are. And so a moral patient is somebody that, you know, according to morality, they count, so to speak. How much do they count? Maybe equally. Maybe all moral patients are equal, but maybe not. So almost everybody agrees that, like a dog is a moral patient. So, a dog matters morally speaking. You can't just do whatever you want to a dog the way maybe you can do whatever you want to a rock. Maybe you can kick a rock if you feel like it, nothing wrong with that. But it would be very bad to kick a dog just because you feel like it. So dogs are moral patients. But there's disagreement about, like, does a dog matter just as much as a human being? Or maybe a dog matters less. It's a moral patient, but not like, it doesn't matter as much as humans. And so to be a moral patient is to matter morally. And then we could, of course, debate number one, could AI ever be a moral patient? Could you ever build like a robot or whatever that's a moral patient? What does it take to be a moral patient and things like that? So that's one question. The other question is, what goes into moral agency? And that's basically being able to sort of be a moral actor, like think about what you ought to do, morally speaking, and act on those sorts of reasons. Uh, to be a moral agent is sort of like above being a moral patient in most ways of thinking because look, the dog is not a moral agent. The dog can't think about right and wrong and decide to do the right thing. A baby is not a moral agent. Like a baby can't think about right and wrong and make the right choices. But we might think a dog and a baby are moral patients. And in fact, maybe the baby, as they grow up, they'll kind of become a moral agent as they get more sophisticated. So often the way we think about it is like moral agency is kind of more developed than moral patiency. But perhaps in principle, it's possible to build something that is a moral agent, but not a moral patient. Maybe it has the capacity to act morally, but it doesn't matter morally. And in fact, this week, where I don't know, this sort of comes up in this reading and the next reading. It's not like a huge point of contention between the authors, but like it might be interesting to think about whether you could build a machine that is able to be a moral agent, but which doesn't count as a moral patient. That's kind of an interesting question to think about. I guess it came up a little bit during the drone uh, warfare unit. So yeah, this is just to reiterate this distinction because moral agency is the focus of our discussion this week.